Welcome to the show where we talk about whatever we want, whenever we want, and nobody cares.
Hi, I'm Eli, and this is my brother and co-host Joshua, and this is Something.
Hey guys, hope you're having a beautiful day, and welcome back. And this morning, you got a job interview.
I didn't just get a job interview, I got a job. It's going to be a part-time job at Tim Hortons on East Main here in Lancaster. So if you want to come visit me, if you're ever in the area, I probably won't be there because it's only a part-time job. But yes, I got a job. It was really interesting because I walked in the door, right? And my job interview was at 11:15, but I got there at like 11:02, and I stood in line just to tell the gentleman at the cash register that I had a job interview, and just let them know that I was there. I'm standing in line, and a girl that I used to be in the band with walks out from behind from the back and says, "Eli?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Hey, nice to see you again. I'm the one doing your interview." I'm like, okay. So we walked over, we sat down for a little bit, and I was like, how you doing? She's not too bad, things are all well, whatever. And then she's like, so what's your availability? And I answered or whatever, and then she says, so you good to come in on Thursday for orientation? And I was like, yeah, what time? She's like, 11. I'm like, okay. And that was it. Just walked right in. Here's a job. Passing out jobs, free jobs for everyone. Like, I don't know. I walked in, and like literally a minute and a half later, I walked out. So
that's awesome. I wish half my job interviews went like that. Usually, my job interviews would go. Yeah, you know what I really hate is when you would like apply and then you get a job interview and then they're like, okay, so we're gonna set up a second interview. Like, what do you need during a second interview?
Yeah,
that you didn't get during the first.
The other one I don't like. I've never actually had a second interview, but all three of my jobs that I've had before, well, official jobs I should say, that I've had before. I shouldn't say that because I've also had gigs, but we don't, even some tax gigs I got paid a lot of money for, but not including those. Any of my like standard jobs, I've gotten hired on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really interesting to me because they come in, all three times, I've gone in, I'm sorry, the previous two times, once at Kroger's and once at the hospital, which I didn't take the hospital job because I took the Kroger job. But all three times, those first two times, and a lot of people also have this experience where they walk in and they're like, one of the questions they generally ask is, why do you want to work for us? What makes you think that you're going to be good for our company? What drives you to want to work at Kroger or Fairfield Medical Center? And I'm like, I need money. Like, I hate to say it. I'm not applying for a job that requires 2 master's degrees. I'm applying for a job that's going to be minimum wage and pay, never gets any pay grade upgrades or anything like that. I just need a job.
Well, it's funny.
Like, what makes you passionate about working at Kroger? I'm like, Fridays, payday. Like, I'm sorry, I hate to say that, but I get it in certain situations. But in a situation where you're working at a minimum wage job that anyone can do, 16-year-olds are doing your job. It's just an irrelevant question to me.
I don't think it's irrelevant. I mean, I think that
unless you
should do a good job, and it should be a job well done, and you should desire to be there, even if there's a payoff. You should desire to be there. I have zero tolerance. Nothing irritates me more, and you have one of these people at work all the time. Every job I've ever worked, there's at least one guy or girl.
Mm-hmm.
I hate this job so much. Oh my God, I hate it so much. I don't want to be here today. Oh my. Leave.
Mm-hmm.
That's an option that is available to you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be here either, necessarily, but I come. I don't complain. I show up. I do my job. I do it well.
Mm.
I put 110% in. I understand that maybe it's not the job you want. I understand that. I get it. There are days you don't want to come. There's days I don't want to come. But my God, I mean, I'm talking about these people and day after day, week after week. I hate this job so effing much. It sucks so much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I really want to leave this place. Then leave. Leave. I'm sorry. Even when the economy was bad, there were jobs in Lancaster to have.
Mm-hmm.
Even when the economy was really bad, there were jobs to have. Go find one.
Yeah.
You know, man, that irritates me to no end.
I've always, in both the jobs that I've actually held before, I do work my hardest, and I put in all. That's why, that's another question they do often ask is, are you willing to put forth all this effort? Are you willing to work with other people? That whole spiel, and that whole set of questions. But especially as I said, for a little minimum wage job, part-time minimum wage job, it's weird to me when they ask, what makes you passionate about working for Kroger?
Well, I was going to go off a moment ago when you were saying that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one of the last jobs I had before I started working out of my house. I took a job that was way below my grade, my experience. I'm an ACF certified chef. I'd done my time. I'd been in food for a long time at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I took a really pretty low paying job at the time. It was what was available. And it wasn't really low paying. It just was mundane type work.
Yeah.
Actually pay was pretty good. It was kind of mundane, and that's what when I was in my interview, I was asked. They were like, this kind of seems out of your wheelhouse. This kind of seems like, he's like, I don't want to discount this job, but it kind of seems like it's below you.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm not saying anything about people who work here, but there's a lot of teenagers, a lot of older ladies. He's like, this job seems kind of below your experience and what you as a chef. And I was like, look, dude, I just had a kid. It was right after Simon was born. And I was like, at this point, there are no options. Like, I have to take a job. I'm not too proud to take a crap job to provide for my family.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean,
that's interesting because that's like the opposite kind of question. Instead of like glorifying the job, he kind of like downplays it. Like,
well, he was really, I could tell he was really hesitant to say it, but he eventually came out and said it.
Yeah.
But and I got that in a single interview. But we kind of go back a little bit to that. We were talking about second interviews. I never understood the idea of a second interview, and that's not just to somebody who has been to a lot of interviews in his lifetime, but that is to somebody who has given interviews. I've run kitchens. I've run business. I've helped run. I've been. And I've interviewed people, and I've never felt like, you know what? I really need to give this person a second interview.
The only reason
in a single interview, I pretty much know
what you're going to expect.
Yeah, and I've never understood the concept. It's like, and the worst part is if you get a second interview and you don't get the job, which has happened to me. I've had 2 interviews, and it's like, why did you give me a second interview
if you weren't even planning on?
Because that second interview to me feels like it should be semantics.
The only reason for me that I would think a second interview would be necessary is if it is a highly competitive position, like there's 20 people go out for it, and in the mix you discover more questions for somebody. Like you said, you get somebody that you really like, and they give you an answer. You're like, oh, I need to ask that other person that same question to see who I think would be better in that.
See, and another jobs I've gotten second interviews for have been highly competitive jobs.
Yeah.
I remember when I applied when I was in high school. I applied to dish dog at TJ's. I applied to do dishes. I got 2 interviews and didn't get the job.
2 interviews
How
for
many?
a dish job.
Okay, not that many people are competing to do dishes at a TJ's. Okay, I'm not.
TJ's is gone now. At least the one here in Lancaster.
And so, what was the point of that second interview? I mean, what did you not get in that first? I'll tell you, the only job that I got 2 interviews for, that I got the job, and it ended up, there was a reason for 2 interviews, was I got a job there was a restaurant here in town called Woody's.
Yep.
And it is, I count it in one of my top 3 jobs of all time. It was shit pay. It was horrible pay, especially because I had just come off of running a restaurant as the chef, and because of some I could see which way the winds were blowing. And I had left. And so it was a huge pay cut after, running this restaurant. Now I was going to be like kitchen manager here.
Yeah.
And I got 2 interviews. And the reason I got 2 interviews is because there was 2 couples that owned the restaurant.
Oh, okay. So there's 2 separate
meetings. So I had meetings with both owners. And I impressed both of them, and I ended up taking the job. And I'll tell you what, I count that as one of my top 3 jobs of all time. That job was a blast.
Yeah.
That they ran a business the way a business should be run, which is you manage, you keep an eye on things, you make sure that things are getting done, but you let the people who are doing the job do the job.
Mm-hmm.
And we were pretty much had free license to do what we want. We'd say, hey, look. Where the refrigerator's at, it kind of messes up the flow of things. Like, okay, where do you need it? And they'd have it moved for us, or we'd move it. They'd just let us move it. They'd say, what do you guys think the special should be? We'd go look and say, like, well, we have X amount. We have too much of something, and we make the specials. They kind of just let us do what we had and what we do.
Yeah.
They let us design. They let us move things around the kitchen as we desired. As long as we were communicating with them. And man, that job was fun. And I actually worked with a guy. His name was Ryan. And if I could make an all-star team of people to work with, he would be in the top 2. He'd probably be my number 1.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't the type of people who would hang out together outside of work. Like we would never hang outside of work.
Mm-hmm.
But we became really close while working at work. And the thing that made him so great was that he and I got to a point where we didn't even communicate. I just knew what he was doing at all times. He knew what I was doing at all times, and so I'd be making something, and he'd kind of know what I was doing, and so I'd be making this dish, and he knew there was it was a grill and pub, and I'd be putting this burger together, and then here would come the fries. He just knew that I needed that. I didn't have to say, hey, can you put some fries down?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even have to communicate that. He just knew, and lo and behold, by the time that burger was done, hot fries were on the plate. Because we could read each other, and it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, what
I had some great. Working in the past 2 jobs I've had some great workmates. I can't particularly say that there's a specific part of the job that I really enjoyed. I mean, I worked in a deli at Kroger. I worked in the deli and I worked night shift. Night shift was fun. I had a lot of good times, but I couldn't actually do the shift. It was physically affecting me with my sleep patterns and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that was a great job. I really liked most of the people.
Okay, so you worked late shift. What was the craziest thing you've ever done at work? Like, what was the craziest thing that happened at work?
I mean, that's kind of...
Because, I know if we had worked late shifts at the places I've ever worked, it was getting nuts.
I mean, I worked late... When I was in the deli, I always worked pretty late in the afternoon, into the evening, sometimes up to... The latest I ever worked in the deli was midnight. And then when I worked night shift, I mean, that's overnight, 10 to 2. Usually I was working actually 12 to 8. I could say we had some crazy people come in. I mean, you had people that came in with 2 jobs tattooed below their eyes and stuff like that. And you're like, I don't know if that's, just your look or if you actually got those in prison.
Is that not the worst, though, when you're getting ready to close up shop and you're there. You have 2 minutes till the clock's up, and then somebody walks in and he has a huge order. That's the worst.
We had a little bit of free license to tell people that we couldn't serve certain things after a certain time in the deli. However, here's one story for you. Christmas Eve, the only Christmas Eve I worked, I was there for, I guess it was Christmas Eve 2015. We had an order for a rotisserie chicken. Now, the store didn't just close at 6. We had to be out of the store, walking on the door at 6 o'clock. They locked the doors at 6:01. We had to be out. And this rotisserie chicken, this woman had made an order for it for 5:45. And it got to 5:52. We had to take out the trash. I ended up waiting till like 5:57 to take out the trash. I booked it back there with a single trash bag with the rest of the trash in it to throw it away before I could leave. And at literally like 5:58, this woman comes running at the deli, and she's like, "I'm here for my chicken." And I was like, "We already got rid of that. We had to get rid of that. Like, we couldn't stay. Like, the thing is, if you don't buy it, if you weren't here at 5:45 when you said you're going to be here, if you didn't buy it, I would not have had time to take out the trash, and it would have sat here in the deli through the rest of this evening and all the way through Christmas Day. We can't leave that here. There's laws against leaving out chicken. You know what I mean?" Mm-hmm. So, and of course, she like breaks down. She's super upset. She's like, "We're going to a vegetarian's house for Christmas Eve. I was supposed to bring the meat. I had to call a manager over. I ended up leaving at like 6:05, and they were mad at me." And I'm like, I had to make an executive decision to get rid of that because there was nothing else I could do. So they ended up giving her like some free chicken, like some free cold fried chicken that we had in the cooler and all this stuff. So that it ended up working out. But that was probably the worst time. I wouldn't say like the whatever, but that was probably the worst time I had when working that job. Other than the night I hallucinated on night shift because I hadn't slept in like 3 days. But
that's a story for another day.
That's a story for another day. Yes. So, go ahead and we're gonna take a small break here, a commercial break. I hope you like what you see. That's really good. It's not too strong at all. It's definitely got that. They mentioned the word mellow. Mellow is definitely in there.
All right, and we're back. So, let me ask you. We talked about work. Let's talk about vacation. Let's talk about play. Let me ask you something. If you had infinite resources, but you could only travel to one place in the world, where would you go?
Oh my God. That's a really, really hard question. I have no idea. I mean, can I say a whole continent? Australia is a whole continent and a country,
that's
so
true.
I guess that's one place. But I wouldn't say Australia. Oh my Lord, that's such a difficult.
That is, isn't it?
Can I say like the west side of the United States? I mean, that's a place, right?
It's like western half of the United States.
Everything west of the Mississippi. I have no idea. I mean,
I have infinite resource. Can I just say planet Earth?
Yeah, planet Earth. Mars. I want to go to Mars. No.
Okay. In all fairness, though, where are some of the places you'd like to travel?
Outside of the United States, I'll start with that. I would very much like to go to Austria. Not just because they have an incredible historical music scene. I remember seeing in Band of Brothers the series, the TV series. They went to Austria at one point, and they actually filmed that scene in Austria, and it was just so gorgeous. The mountains, but they were down in a valley and all that. I've seen that area in other things before too. Absolutely gorgeous country. I go to Spain and Mexico both. I took classes in Spanish for a long time, so I know a lot about the cultures from a book, but I'd really like to experience them from
cultures, yeah.
An actual place. And I also want to hike El Camino in the north of Spain. That's that. In the United States, I'd love to go to Seattle. I've had a huge thing actually about going to Seattle for a very long time. I really want to go to Seattle. I don't even know why I've never been. I've mentioned before that I want to hike the Appalachian Mountain Trail the next couple of years. So that's a thing. So where do you want to go?
A lot of places. There's a lot of places I've been that I'd like to go back to.
That's the same thing for me.
Those being primarily in the States. Costa Rica. I'd like to take the.
That's not the United States.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think about places I've been.
Yeah.
I did do a missionary trip to Costa Rica many years ago, and actually, yes, I would like to go back to Costa Rica, either in a missionary capacity or even as in a semi-tourist capacity, because Costa Rica was really quite breathtaking.
Mm-hmm.
But
Costa Rica would be awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. But beyond Costa Rica, places in the States, like Grand Canyon, I'd like to see.
You saw it as a kid. I didn't get to see because I was so young.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I have no recollection of seeing the Grand Canyon.
I'd like to take my kids to DC so they can go to DC and at least see and experience DC.
Have you been to DC before?
Twice.
Okay, yes, I've been to DC twice as well. And I'd like to go back I'll say it like this, I like to go back as a free adult. The first time I went with Grandma Diane.
Mm-hmm.
She took Sam and I, and we were younger. So I know, we were kids. There's not, you don't have as much appreciation for things there. And then the second time I went with the marching band after I graduated high school, and that was really cool. We got to march in the 4th of July parade in 2014. However, I was incredibly restricted to what the band was allowed to do.
Right.
Smithsonian-wise, we got to go to the Smithsonian we had a choice between, on the last day, we had a choice between 2 museums, and we had to choose one of those 2, and then we went to the other side, and we got to choose 1 or 2 museums. So we only got to go to 2 of the museums for the Smithsonian. As I said, we just, in general, we were incredibly limited what we could do. So I'd like to go to DC again. That's as I said, as a free adult, where I get to choose what I want to do.
I would like to do a tour of Europe. I would like to hit Ireland, Scotland.
Scotland, definitely. I'd love to go to Scotland.
I'd love to see England, France, Italy. I would love to be able to just do like a kind of tour.
Yeah. Just do the whole thing.
Just kind of snake my way through Europe.
If I had to choose 5 countries in Europe to go to, I'm going to make you do this in a second. It would probably be Scotland, Spain, France, Italy, and Germany. So, because there's so many countries in Europe, and it's so varied right across the board. What 5 would you choose?
It's hard to even say. Probably Scotland. Definitely Scotland. Definitely France. Definitely Italy.
Food and wine.
Probably England.
England's going.
If you're on, I'm going now like real Eastern, but I probably would go to Ukraine. I'd like to see Ukraine.
Yeah,
I know that the geopolitical climate is iffy there. Can be unstable, although not due to the Ukrainians, more due to Russian interference. But my last name Czech is Ukrainian. My great grandfather came, and this is where it gets iffy. He either escaped the Russian Revolution and came over, or he fought in the Russian Revolution and came over after.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would really very much like to kind of see Ukraine.
I'd like to go to Canada. I mean, Alaska. I'd like to go to Alaska too.
I like to do some camping in Canada.
Canada's
because their wilderness is really pretty.
Mm-hmm. Well, same as Alaska. I mean, I've got in this past couple of years, I've really been looking forward to doing some major hiking. Mm-hmm. And in Alaska, there's Denali and all that area. And then also you have all across Canada. I mean, there's a lot of trails and camping areas and wilderness. So there's a lot of choices there. And I would not mind at all going to Canada and camping and doing all that stuff, camping and hiking in Canada.
I did say the scenery there is spectacular, and it is. But one of the things about one of the nice things about living in the United States is that most places in the United States, if you're willing to save and you're willing to, you can get to most places in the United States.
Yeah.
And the thing is that because the United States is so big, and because the way the United States is set up, there's so much diversity and location. You can go from Arizona and Texas and Oklahoma and get some desert. You can go to Alaska and you can go. Well, you don't have to go that far. You can go up Washington State or Oregon and get mounds and get
the thing
deep
is,
forests.
you can drive from Phoenix, which is in like the middle of the desert, pretty much. You know, love Phoenix. I've never been to Phoenix, but maybe I was as a kid. I can't remember. But did we go to Phoenix?
Yes.
We went to Phoenix. See, I told you I was like 1. You can go from Phoenix in the middle of the desert, and you can drive to the desert. You can hang out in the desert. Drive a couple hours, and you're in LA.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know exactly how. I'd say probably 6 hours. I have no idea the actual distance there. Probably more than that, actually. Point being, you can drive not that far and get to LA.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can drive, I think it's 8 or 9 hours from here and get to DC.
Well, I would make a better example, I think, was you could drive from Arizona and probably within a day, be in the redwood forest in California. You know, if you drive overnight or whatever, you could, and that's an entirely different
atmosphere.
It's entirely different.
The thing about the United States is that the United States is so, I want to use this word, is almost bastardized because of the way the United States was formed through massive amounts of immigration on both sides. And then we also brought people over in various ways. Don't take that the wrong way. We did, though. We had people during the gold rush. We had lots of people from Asia coming over that were, building railroads and panhandling. That's not the right word.
Gold panning.
Panning for gold. Panning for gold. Yeah. We had slavery. I hate to bring that up, but that does bring a whole other group of people in the United States.
Whole other culture. Yeah.
Whole other culture. The United States has so much variability. You can drive an hour from just about anywhere and get to a real Chinese restaurant. You know what I mean? Mm. You can drive, a couple hours and be in a national forest from anywhere in the United States. You can drive a couple hours, just about.
Yeah, you're talking culturally though, and but you're like
geologically speaking, we have several major mountain chains.
That's not about bringing people in though. That's really like the big land deals, and that's why we have such diversity geologically. And the biodiversity is because of the huge, massive land deals we made, and we.
Well, it just depends on if you're talking about culture, if you're talking about geology. If you're talking geology, again, like I just said, it's also diverse. As you said, go to Alaska, you have massive snow-capped mountains everywhere.
Well, you think about even our own home state of Ohio. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of diversity just here in Ohio. Yeah. Where my wife is from, only 4 hours away, is so much different than where we're from. Mm-hmm. And I've talked about that in a previous episode. Where she's from is very, very flat. Where we are, it's a lot of hills, a lot of sandstone formations, a lot of woods. Mm-hmm. So, but I'm just saying. Just saying, when you travel, you could literally stay in the United States and travel and not see everything in a lifetime.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. So. That's just the United States. There are places I want to visit. I actually, a few years after doing the missionary trip in Costa Rica, had looked at doing a missionary trip in Africa, and didn't end up going. But I wouldn't mind going to Africa. I would really very much like to go to Africa. I'd very much love to see some of the Middle East. I mean, I know it's politically not a stable region, but there are things to see there. There are, it's a beautiful region.
Mm-hmm. I'd love. You could mention Africa, and Africa to me, personally speaking, I oftentimes forget about Africa as not like a travel destination per se, but like as a location that I would love to go to. I don't know why I even say it that way, but like I would love to go to Africa. Our Aunt Mary and Grandma Esther went to Africa back in the.
They went on a safari with Jack Hanna
before he was already big, but they went on a safari with him because I think they said they won the safari on a box of cereal or something. They won this trip with Jack Hanna, so I'd love to go to Egypt. I would love to go to Jerusalem. You had mentioned the Middle East. I guess Egypt is technically counted as the Middle East now, but
I would love to see Turkey.
Turkey, Istanbul, and Constantinople would be the same thing. I know, but I would love to see Turkey.
Because you're talking about we were talking about mashing of cultures, and
that's what.
Yeah, it was kind of the birthplace of mashing up cultures and so then there's some just really interesting places. I would love to see some of these. Don't know what the future holds. Who knows? Maybe this thing will take off, and we'll do trips and do podcasts from those trips. That'd be really quite amazing. But hey, guys, comment below. Where do you want to go? If you could go anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Where have you been?
Where have you been? What do you want to see? Tell us about your work experiences. What were some of the craziest things you did at work? What are some of your biggest complaints about work?
What's the best job you ever had?
What's the best job you ever had? What's the worst
job you've ever had?
I have plenty of worst job stories, so that's a topic we may revisit one day.
Yep.
But I guess it's time to sign out.
Yeah. Well, until next time, I'm Eli.
I'm Joshua, and this is Something.
We hope you liked today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment because we enjoy chatting with you.
Also, check us out on Instagram and Facebook at This Is Something. All the links are below. Thanks, and have a beautiful day.